Welcome to Spirit Knox, a Brooklyn Mosaic. So today we're going to talk about how you know when it's time to change locations. So I'm going to tell you all about all the different messages I've received about changing location. So it started with I attended an art show, and there was someone at the art show. I saw this couple, um, and it was an interracial couple at the art show. And they walked in and they kind of seemed to be like moving quickly. It was pleasant. No one really spoke, but we kind of just, um, you know, it's, it was friendly. I don't know how else to explain it. We didn't speak, but the air was friendly. Like you make eye contact, you kind of just move and you keep it moving. After the art show, I went to this ice cream place here in the Gambia that I had heard about for the first time. A friend of mine, we went to the art show. We decided to go to his place. So when I'm looking in the case at the ice cream, lady walks up next to me, and I'm like, oh, so it's art then ice cream. And then she's like, oh, you was at the gallery, blah, blah. We start talking. Me, I'm like, where you from? She said she was from Wisconsin. I'm like, okay, you from the States. Yeah, where you from? New York City. Originally lived in PA. She's like, oh, well, my husband is from Brooklyn, New York. Blah, blah. Okay, so we talking. She's like, I got to introduce you to my husband. So she walks back out with me. She introduces me to her husband. Her husband's from Brooklyn, New York. As we're walking up to the car, I noticed that the truck says U.S. Embassy on it. So I'm like, okay, I'm catching that the truck says U.S. Embassy. He's from Brooklyn, New York. She's from the States. So I'm paying attention, right? Signs, three S's, signs, symbols, and synchronicities. Check out the video. Okay, so he then proceeds to tell me that he went to Bishop Loughlin in Brooklyn, which is where I went to summer school in Brooklyn. So, we laughed about that. He asked me if I knew some other people from Brooklyn that were here in the Gambia. I stated I did. I know them. I don't associate with them, but I know who they are. Um, I was like, yeah, I know they're from Brooklyn. I was like, yeah, and the husband actually attended my high school, so he's an alumni from my high school. They both happen to be Greek, so he mentioned that they're Alpha brothers. And I was like, yeah, I'm frat too. I'm an AKA. So again, it's all these things associated with the states, but I'm just not paying attention at this time. About a few days later, I'm at this bank and I'm online, and a brother walks in and he got on a big red shirt that says, Kappa Alpha Psi on it. The letters, the Greek letters. Once again, black fraternity in the States. I'm paying attention. He gets online, sister walks in. Every day start chatting. I hear them both say they from Atlanta. And I'm like, okay, well, since we have an, U.S. reunion, let me tell you where I'm from. So I start telling them I'm from New York. We all start talking, just, chatting. And the sister goes, I have a YouTube channel. I'm like, really? It's like, yeah. So she tells me the name of her channel, which is like One Nation Under Black. So I'm like, okay, cool name for a YouTube channel, but it was a statement for me. It was more of a sentence, right? One nation under black. So I'm like, okay, there's a meaning to this. First, I was talking about the states, the messages were leading to the states. They both said they were from Atlanta, which was in the South. And now the statement is one nation under black. So am I being told that no matter where I live, no matter where we are as black people, as African Americans, as indigenous Americans, as African diasporans, we're still one nation, no matter where we are in the world. That clicked, that hit me real hard. I was paying attention. Okay, so then I'm walking down a back path and nobody's on the road, and this man comes out of a compound gate like boom, like he throws open the door. And he comes out on the road and he got on this brand new black t-shirt. What does it say? New York City and White, and I'm like, nah. Okay, I get it. Y'all want me to come back to the States. I get it. Then another day comes, I'm walking down the road, I'm going to meet some friends for lunch at this vegan place. And a donkey like almost drops down in front of me on its knees, and I'm like, what is happening right now? Donkey looks like it's having contractions. I'm paying attention, and I just won't leave this donkey side because I want to see what's happening. And as I'm watching this donkey, a man comes down the road toward me, and his shirt says New York City, Brooklyn, New York. I'm like, get out of here. Ancestors, are you serious? Y'all sending me back to New York City? I'm like, I haven't lived in New York in over 20 years. Like, my son is 20. I left when he was 1. And I lived in Pennsylvania for many years, 19 years, practically 18 years, right? And then I left and, came to the Gambia. So I'm like, New York City? I'm like, why New York City? And so I started thinking, wait, I was born in New York, New York. I was raised in Brooklyn, but I was born in Manhattan. Okay, so that was one thing. And I realized that this spiritual journey is bringing me back to where it all started. And then I started to say, but why Gambia? And I looked at Gambia and New York. What is the connection? And I realized that the Portuguese came to Gambia, and the Portuguese brought kidnapped Africans to New York, which was called New Amsterdam. Talk about that in the next video.